Parenting, of course, is the toughest job and the most important job any of us can have, but when we're successful, it's also the most rewarding. Getting over those rough times is not an exact science, of course, but here to help us with some tips are Dr. Trent Everett and Ms. Erin Whitney, both with LifeTrek Academic and Psychological Solutions. Good morning to both of you.
Thanks, nice for having us.
Well, you know, here in this 9 a.m. hour, we have a lot of moms, obviously, who are at home with their kids, and some may be kind of frustrated. I know all parents go through that. We want to begin talking about medication, if we can, because a lot of kids are medicated these days due to various diagnoses. Are they over-medicated, doctor?
One of the concerns that we have about this increased use of medication with children is this tendency towards medication being the first or only option that's turned to, as opposed to being the last resort or maybe an option that's used in conjunction with other therapies. And so in our practice, a way of using medication that is effective would be if a child's symptoms are so extreme that it would prevent any other kind of intervention from being effective. So that's when we can see it being used effectively. But yeah, there's a concern about that.
It seems to me that if a parent is having behavioral problems with their child, that maybe if they go in and see a practitioner and they get a diagnosis, that it almost makes the job for a little while easier, doesn't it? I mean, I have this child who's out of control. I don't know how to handle them as a parent. Well, they've been diagnosed now with X, and now we can give them this drug, and that will fix everything.
Well, and I would agree with you, Mike. I would say that many parents who come into us really don't want to medicate their children, but they find that, you know, they've tried absolutely everything that they already know to do, and nothing is working, so they don't know what else to do. There is something that many parents don't know, however. Usually the parents of these children recognize that they have a very challenging or a difficult child, but many times they don't know that there's a particular combination that makes it very difficult for those children to do a great job of behaving. That combination is that those children that are very intense have an extra strong need for attention and connection. And if you put that along with traditional parenting that says we're going to use bigger and bigger punishments and consequences, then that is a combination that's likely to end in disaster.
Oh boy, I'm taking notes.
Yeah, and so we have found an approach that we think is particularly effective, and we've tried a lot, I'm here to tell you, and it's called the nurtured heart approach.
Yeah, tell us about that.
The reason that we really like this approach is because it appeals to this supersized need for connection that we see in these particularly intense kids. Now, this approach works for all kids, but particularly these challenging kids with ADHD and all these diagnoses. And so it appeals to this connection, and it doesn't rely on bigger and bigger consequences or just medication in order to get a change in behavior. And we know with these kids, bigger consequences don't work anyway. And so the nurtured heart approach is based on 3 fundamental principles. Number 1, you always are looking for your child being successful in whatever way possible, and that's what you're going to give your attention and your energy to. Number 2, you never make connection with your child, give them a lot of your energy or attention when they're being negative. You just do a consequence and move on.
Wow.
And number 3, you always enforce the rules, but you don't use these big consequences that wind up just rewarding this bad behavior or could damage the relationship with the parent or the child.
I've been doing it wrong for the last 5 years.
Join the club.
If parents are interested in getting more information, how can they contact you?
They can certainly contact us at LifeTrek. Our website is www.lifetreksolutions, all one word.com.
Okay.
And we're really excited to let your viewers know about a particular event that's occurring this Friday. One of the nation's leading experts in this approach, her name is Lisa Bravo, is going to be doing an all-day workshop on Friday. It's not too late to register.
Good.
And we would really encourage anybody interested in an approach to attend.
All right, thank you so much for the information. It is eye-opening. Thank you very much. Melissa.